All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the New Breed Podcast, the world's best podcast, talk about everything new with a U. I am one half of your hosting duo, Jay Horsecow. With me, I have my partner in crime, the notorious TIM, Tim Anderson Jr. Tim, how's it going?
Great. You guys ready for a fun one?
Oh, I am excited. And with us, we have repeat guest, John Carr. John, thanks again for joining.
Not a problem at all. I am glad to be here for this one.
So this is going to be an interesting one, everyone. So this is the first in a series that we're starting called In Defense Of. So what we're doing is we're getting people who are fans of albums that are traditionally made fun of or maligned or just
unfairly
or not. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or did not go over well in their initial run. So for the first episode of this series, John's here to talk about he is going to be in defense of Machine Head's 2001 album, Supercharger.
Yeah, I mean, how much do I really need to defend here?
Yeah.
I mean, my first argument is bulldozer feeds upon the weaker as they fall. Bulldozer crushes all. End of argument. Supercharger is great.
So I remember picking this up when it came out. Listened to it a couple times and I was kind of underwhelmed because I loved Burn My Eyes. I loved The More Things Change. I even thought The Burning Red had a lot of really good moments. I mean, it was a little bit more commercial than what I was used to, but I thought it still had good moments. This to me totally fell flat. Like it totally fell flat. And I listened to it and I picked up the live album right afterwards and I jammed it in a drawer somewhere. And this was the first time I've listened to it probably since it's come out. Probably a good 20 years. Tim, how about you?
In the spirit of our conversation on Twitter earlier, I'm going to go ahead and be that guy. It's a pile of shit.
Okay.
I mean,
it's so here. I'll elaborate.
Go on.
I couldn't agree more with what Jay said. It's a huge epic fail for me. I think this is Rob trying to make it big. And I think he expected this record to just pop off and have radio play everywhere. And it just didn't work. I mean, the record hasn't even sold more than 5,000 copies.
No, it did far worse than The Burning Red.
I mean, it is. The sound numbers are terrible. The songs are fucking horrible. The lyrics are even worse. I think it's cool that people like it. Don't get me wrong. I just think this record is a huge pile of shit.
So when I went back and listened to it, I tried to go in without any preconceived notions. And there were a couple of songs that weren't bad. Like they weren't bad. But the ones that to me were bad, like I thought All in Your Head wasn't great. I thought American High, the intro alone is like
I love American High.
Oh, we're gonna
unapologetically. I love American High. I love what's the other obnoxious one? White Knuckle Blackout.
White Knuckle Blackout. I mean,
Jay, cue the sound.
I gotta find the drop. I can't find the drop. John, we used to use the intro to American High as a drop. So like if somebody said something terrible, I'd hit a button here.
I would have just got excited.
I mean, in hindsight, right? I think Tim nailed it when he texted me and he said this was Rob Flynn trying to build off the success of The Burning Red and to make something that's more commercially palatable.
I'm actually not going to disagree with you.
I think the timing was bad, right? Right after September 11th, lead-up singers crashed.
September 11th got that video taken and banned on MTV.
Yeah.
And that shut them down really quick. Because I think given time, Crashing Around You would have done well, but basically taking it off TV and taking it off radio, it killed all momentum. It wasn't just them. That was the same period of time where American Head Charge released their album. And like it just
what
stopped.
Was that album's title?
The War of Art.
The War of Art. And that was right when
that was right before.
That was right before the tour that they did. What was that called?
With Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah. I mean, there was some, and Tim said it earlier today. I'm going to steal a lot of Tim's feedback. He said, Ahru writes pretty good riffs. There's some good riffing on the album, but where the riffing is good, the lyrics are laughably bad. Yeah. Where the lyrics are not so bad, the song structure kind of just falls a little flat.
So I have...
John, explain to us, John, how we're wrong, right? Convince us that we're wrong.
So it's kind of difficult. I'm going to state how I feel about it. So I have always found Rob Flynn to be one of those over the top, boisterous, kind of obnoxious vocalists. A good comparison mark is Fred Durst, as much as I'm sure he would love to hear that. But so if you take a band like Machine Head and we'll put side by side, we'll take Limp Bizkit. Musicianship a lot across the board, really, really good. However, if you put a really like par vocalist in front of either of those bands, they would have been lost in the shuffle. But you needed this over the top, loudmouth guy, just like regardless of the lyrical content, he gets your attention because he's kind of annoying. And that's what pulls people in and as well turns some people off. So as much as I love Supercharger, I can get why some people, especially big Burn My Eyes fans or people who came in later and like the Blackening, wouldn't like Supercharger. I don't as much understand how many people who really, really like, I'm not saying you guys, but how many people I know who really like the Burning Red and don't like Supercharger at all.
That is kind of odd. Well, that's kind of odd, I would think, because, and Tim, I want you to give a little bit more on that. I mean, because it's a natural, if you're jumping off point, your introduction to Machine Head was the Burning Red. To me, Supercharger would almost be like a natural extension.
Supercharger feels to me, so I look at the first 6 Machine Head albums in a certain way. I feel that they had 3 periods. I'm not going to count anything after the Blackening because I'm not that familiar with it. So basically, you take Burn My Eyes, and then they evolved a little bit, and then you get The More Things Change. They shifted their sound, then that's the Burning Red. They evolved a little bit, got a little heavier, Supercharger. Switched their sound again, Through the Ashes of Empires, evolved that a little bit, and you got the crazy stuff that was the Blackening. And then Unto the Locust, The Little I've Heard just kind of sounds like the Blackening trying to get rehashed. So that's the way I look at it. So I do completely understand if somebody's like, I love Burn My Eyes and I love The More Things Change. I don't like Supercharger. I get that. But yeah, the Burning Red and then hating Supercharger, I don't fully understand that.
I'm going to explain it to you right here.
Okay.
The Burning Red is nu metal in its purest form to me. Supercharger is cookie cutter nu metal. They tried to put too many of the sound effects. They added in elements that just don't make sense as the songs progress. The lyrics are so bad that I think he purposely made them bad on the attempt to gain that fan base. And
so you think he like stupefied him a bit?
Yes, I think
he leaned into it. Okay,
I think he purposely leaned into making that record as cookie cutter as possible because I think he's thinking, oh, we can hit TRL, we can hit this, that. And I think that it backfired because when you have records like Burn My Eyes and The More Things Change, you have a rabid fan base that's into that groovy Pantera-ish, metal. And then you start putting cornrows in your hair and you go to Burning Red, you kind of turn off your fan base. So then you lose what was there in the first place. But the thing is, Burning Red did great because it brought in a new audience. But then that same audience also noticed that record was cookie cutter as hell. Read all the reviews online.
Yeah,
the people say, I love Burning Red, but this record is just a sad attempt at extension of that record.
So with the benefit of hindsight, I think John's right when he talked about how, Rob Flynn is a little bit obnoxious and he bills himself that way. And that's definitely something that makes you pay attention. And with the benefit of hindsight, I definitely will give him credit in the sense that he knows how to spot a trend coming and he knows how to grab enough of it to make it his own without blatant pandering. For example, right? Look at look at the appearance of the band in Dynamo. What was that? 95, 96, right? Burn My Eyes, right?
Yeah.
He's got cornrows. He's got a size 5XL Reservoir Dogs shirt on, right? Looks the part, right? Of the mid 90s. And then you go through The More Things Change, where he had a shaved head, he had the facial piercings, he had a giant VOD windbreaker, right? Camo pants. Okay, so leaning in. Then we go into the Burning Red. Now we've got yellow spiked hair. We've got the flashier nu metal type outfits.
And the amazing From This Day music video.
Yes. And then after this, like fast forwarding, right past that point, you end up with the Blackening, you end up with Unto the Locust, you end up with all that stuff through the Ashes of Empires, which is way more him going back to the almost.
He drops most of the nu metal and he starts bringing back like a thrash sound.
Yes.
And it I think those albums go far more technical than like Burn My Eyes and Through the More Things Change. Like it's a different vibe, but you can still tell it's Machine Head.
Do you think? Hold on, John,
Kitty.
Yeah. Do you think, John, it also has something to do with, if you think about it, right? You're talking about eras, right? 2 albums is an era for them. First 2 albums was Logan Mater. The next 2 albums is Ahru Luster.
Yeah, didn't they lose? They lost somebody after Supercharger, right?
Yes, Ahru, the other guitarist, left.
Okay,
he was replaced by Phil Demmel from Violence, which was Rob Flynn's original
old
thrash
band.
band.
Okay,
so maybe Rob Flynn is quite a chameleon, right? I should probably reach out to him, try to get him on the show, because he definitely takes on some of the interests of his rhythm guitar player or his lead guitarist, right? Because Logan Mater is known to be a metal guy. He likes the groove. He likes hardcore. Ahru Luster he left here. Didn't he end up in El Nino, Tim? Isn't that where his next stop was?
Yes.
So he's obviously in the nu metal vein. And then you have Phil Demmel from Violence, who's a Bay Area thrash guy. So
yeah, and then like the nu metal elements were almost non-existent on those 2 albums.
Yep.
Like little bits and pieces there, but not enough to call any of it nu metal. I do love them though.
Tim, if somebody put a gun to your head and said, give me the best song on this album, what would you pick?
The Deafening the Silence.
Deafening Silence is wonderful.
I think that's the best song on the record.
That's the super melodic one near the end that kind of reminds me of Silver and the Burning Red.
And Silver is my favorite song off of Burning Red. So that's
Silver is excellent.
That song. That's one of my favorite songs ever written.
I don't think a Bulldozer is kind of amusing for a lead-in. White Knuckle Blackout had its moments. Trephination.
Trephination is heavy as hell. I love Trephination. So there's a song I want to bring up on the album, and this is going to be kind of a 180 turn for me because I'm going to kind of crap on it. There's a song called Blank Generation on this album. And it's a slow burner of a track. It starts off a little like slow and melodic and it builds up and it's got kind of a punchy chorus, kind of like Deafening Silence and Silver. However, after the second chorus, it goes into this freestyle rap bit where hold on, I wrote some of it down.
Oh, I know where you're going, but go on.
He goes, go on. So here's to our collagen lips and saline tits, to our growth hormones and antibiotics. I was like, what is happening? What is this? And he keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, why did nobody tell him to stop that? That's like one of the few times in the album that I'm kind of like, I don't. The other moment on the album that I'll crap on is there's a song called I think it's Kick You When You're Down. But it's you have to trust in yourself, you must believe in yourself. You got to follow your heart. I'm like, what? It's
it's a hate breed song? Jamie Johnston, where'd you come from?
It's like almost way too on the nose. Like I get like straightforward lyrics sometimes, but I was like, this song falls flat. But I like as I've mentioned with my Crazy Town enjoyment, I like entertainment sometimes, so I can deal with the bad lyrics. Like if the songs have a really good groove and I think they're really catchy, and in Supercharger's case, they get a little heavier too, I can look past bad lyrics. But yeah, that song and then the bad rap verse in Blank Generation, I'm like, it's a little too far for me.
I can get past bad lyrics when I can't understand them, like in black metal or something.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
But when you have like riffing that's good and you're like, oh, okay. And then you start hearing saline tits, it's like, come on, bro.
I forgot that line was on the album. And then I was like, oh.
what was my first message on Monday when I listened to this record? I'm like, he just talked about saline tits.
He just talked about fake boobs. I said,
Yeah.
Tim, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
And he
And
goes,
then
trust me, listen to it.
Yeah, blank generation. I think it's unfortunate. Well, unfortunate for some, I guess. This album only got one single because of all that stuff happening with Crashing Around You just getting abruptly dropped. They never released a second single. There's a couple of songs on the album that I thought would have done really well. The title track, Supercharger, the last song on the album, I thought that would have done really well. It was really catchy. I guess you could have used something like Bulldozer or White Knuckle Blackout, but I don't know. A censored version of White Knuckle Blackout isn't something I really want to hear.
Yeah. I want to bring this up too. My first note on this is a great band at its very worst.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
This is
slope.
Yeah, this is a band where I literally cherish their first two records. I think they're fucking phenomenal records. I don't think there's a bad song on either one of those records. You get to Burning Red, it's like, I can, the blood, the sweat, the tears. I'm like, eh.
I do like Blood, Sweat, Tears.
It's a decent song, but I skip it.
Yeah, because you've heard it too much.
Yeah, but when you get to this record, it's fairy tale shit, man. Like, it's just bad. I mean, even if Phil Demmel doesn't join the band, because I know that's the reason they went back to where they did. Even if he doesn't join the band, he's going back to Burn My Eyes stuff because he just knew it failed epically. I mean, he said it in interviews, like, you know.
The guy who played guitar in this album, it's the Soulfly guy, right?
No, Aru was in, he might have been in Soulfly for a little bit, but he went on to Il Nino.
I thought I swear there was a Soulfly Machine Head connection somewhere.
Yes, Logan Mader, who played in the first two albums.
Okay, that's what it was.
Left here and he went and played in Soulfly.
Yeah, Logan was definitely in Soulfly.
All right, that's what it was. I
think Logan left after Burn My Eyes.
Oh, he wasn't even on the second album?
No, he was on the second album because I saw him at
sure?
Ozfest. Yeah, they played. Okay. He was on the second album, and then after that album, he left. He popped up with Max. He did, I think, Max's first album. No,
dude,
I think that would have lined up with Primitive. Like if my timetable in my head is right.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think. Where is it? Machine Head.
While you're looking that up, Jay, I want to go into a couple album things right here, like we usually do. But like, I know this was done at Indigo Ranch, but it was produced by Johnny K. And Johnny, if you remember Johnny, he's done record. He did the first Disturbed record.
Okay.
He did Mushroom. He did Mushroom Heads 13. He did some Drowning Pool, Unloco, Figure 11.
Well, that explains the production.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like Supercharger is super clean.
Yeah, definitely. But like, how come what's his name didn't do this record if they did it Indigo? I guess that's
Ross?
back when. Yeah, I guess Ross was.
Maybe he was busy.
Yeah, maybe he was renting the studio out. But you would think with Ross doing Burning Red, he would have did this record as well.
Yeah, that is. I just noticed that is kind of weird because Ross was out there. I mean, 2001. That's post Slipknot.
Yeah,
that's.
Well, maybe.
This was like flat in the middle of nu metal.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, he was doing Iowa at this time.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, so maybe he was doing that in the main Indigo, and then the sub places. Yeah, you know what? I did hear Rob talk about that. Now I think about it.
He was
doing another band at that time.
What Slipknot album did Ruben do?
Ooh.
Oh,
was it Volume 3?
Was it 3? Yeah,
it must have been 3. I don't know. I was checked out at that point.
That's probably why 3 is such a pile of shit.
It's Volume 3 is not that bad. It's just a very mixed bag. I love Iowa and Slipknot.
Yes, it's Rick Rubin.
Iowa is a disgusting record.
Iowa is a monster. I think
Iowa might be my favorite Slipknot album.
We are eventually going to do a deep dive on Volume 3. We have Adam from Orthodox. He's going to hit one of the guys from his band that's also in Catabasis is a big Slipknot fan, and Matt from Boundaries. And
that's cool.
I think the most telling thing about Volume 3 is listen to the intro to the self-titled, listen to the intro to Iowa, and listen to the intro to Volume 3.
It's almost a song.
Yes, it's almost a Stone Sour outtake.
Yeah.
And to me, that sets the tone for the entire album.
The thing is, I actually kind of liked those songs, like the softer songs in that album. The problem is they were on a Slipknot album and not a Stone Sour album. And if they were on a Stone Sour album, I probably would have liked them a lot more because they would have fit a lot better. And then the forced really heavy songs on that album like feel weak compared to everything on Iowa. Iowa sounded visceral at times.
Yes.
Like Volume 3's heavy songs where they're like, look, we can do guitar solos now. It's like, I don't care. It's not what I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear one of my other notes for this record?
Shoot.
Yes.
Should have named it Super Shitter.
I just I don't get it. I mean, do they still play any of this live?
Yes.
Do they play any of this live?
Hell
They do.
no.
They did.
When?
They when they were doing their An Evening with Machine Head tour, like where it was just them playing, they did like 2 songs from it. Like they kept Bulldozer. They kept Bulldozer in the set and not American High. Might have been Trepanation. I don't think they play Crashing Around You anymore. But yeah, I believe they've kept 2 songs, and he's actually lightened his tone on Supercharger over the years. Like Flynn has.
I seen them with Suicide Silence one night, and he was in this mode where like we're not playing anything off them records. And they
I remember the backlash immediately afterwards when he toured Through the Ashes of Empire and Blackening. Yep. And he kept saying, he's like, I don't want to play any of those songs. Yep. But then by the time what's the album with blood in the name? The Blood and Diamonds?
Diamonds, yeah.
There was an interview from that period where he had softened on his take on those 2 albums. And he's like, like I was mad at the time, but when we play those songs, the fans do really get into it. So we're going to keep them in the set. I can't speak for like if they're going to do it future tours, but the last tour that I was supposed to go to that I think COVID stopped it. There were the previous shows, there were 2 Supercharger songs. And I think there might have even been 3 Burning Red songs.
Maybe because of the night with thing. I think it kind of makes sense since it's a night
to go through the discography.
You want to go through your discography,
okay.
But on a regular tour, hell no. I've seen them like 5 times after that record's come out. They've never played one of them.
I've actually only seen Machine Head live once, and it was at one of those Rockstar Mayhem tour, I think.
Okay.
And it was a 30-minute set, and it was during the Blackening, so they played 4 songs. They played Davidian, Halo, what's the Aesthetics of Hate?
Yeah.
And whatever the opening song to Clutching the Fists of Dissent.
So each like 7
4 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing. All right.
I'll tell you what, though, I was very upset that I missed the Burn My Eyes set because I think Chris is a fucking phenomenal drummer.
Yeah, he hits hard. Like
I would have actually really liked to have seen the Burn My Eyes full set. I think that would be really good.
There's a set from Gramercy, a full set up on YouTube. I watched it last night.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check that out then.
I'll try and find it for you while when we're done this. I'll try and find it for you.
Okay.
First time I saw them was Ozfest 97. Yes.
Yep. Is that the Pantera one?
Yes, the first touring Ozfest. So Ozfest 97. Then I saw them back-to-back nights. It was them and Snot. And the next night was VOD, Fahrenheit 451, One King Down, and somebody else.
The only one out of those I know is Vision of Disorder.
Fahrenheit had some moments. And then I saw them again on the Live and La Vida Loco tour. And then that was the last time I saw them, I think, yeah.
Was that was Cold Chamber and
Slipknot with Amen opening?
Oh, gee, Amen opened.
Yep.
Well, they're crazy live.
You saw that in Philly, right, Tim?
Yes. Yeah, great tour. that comes up on this show at least once every other episode.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
Because it's such a tour that you remember because when you're a kid my age and you see that tour, it's like Slipknot goes on stage and you're like,
yeah, it was Slipknot's first national tour, not Ozfest. It was Cold Chamber touring off chamber music, and this was Machine Head direct support doing
Burning Red.
Burning Red, yeah.
Burning Red, yeah.
So I mean, I listened to the album 3 times today. God help me. And the more I listened to it, the more I'm like, the more I understood where it was coming from. I actually, at one point I stopped and went back to the burning red. And again, I think it was a natural progression, but I think he shot it, to Tim's point, I think he shot his shot and missed. I just think it was an attempt to get a little bit more commercial, and it just fell flat for whatever reason, because remember, this album comes out, the video comes out, video gets banned. Roadrunner pulls all their support for this album, all the funding. So they self-funded.
I don't even think they toured for it, like until like a full-fledged tour. Because
when did Hell Alive come out?
2003.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think they did Hell Alive. Like, I think they didn't tour for a little while, and I could be completely wrong, but I feel they got, like, because the support got cut, I think they didn't get like a major tour. And I think that's what they were expecting. I think they were expecting to do like Ozfest or something like that. Like, because they would have fit right in kind of on Ozfest 01.
At that time, yeah. At that time, absolutely.
Yeah, I think he expected like a real national tour with like huge. Like, he was a huge band back then, like a rock band back then. Who would you say? 2001, huge rock band.
Close enough to them, maybe.
Stone Temple Pilots was still around. Linkin Park was on their way up.
They could have toured with like Mudvayne or somebody.
Chili Peppers were still around.
Yeah,
was that Californication? I think at that point. Yeah,
I think Rob had the thing in his head like they could break, like I said before, like they break out with that record and then you go on to them kind of tours, because bands like Chili Peppers and stuff are still fucking huge right now. I mean, they're probably one of the biggest rock bands still. And I mean, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people listen to this and they're like, "Oh, Tim just says everything sucks." No, I really don't. But like, when it deserves it, I'll say it. But here's the thing, like, I'm a musician. I appreciate music. I appreciate what Rob tried to do, because if you're not in this game to live off of your art, then what the fuck are you doing? So I appreciate,
unless you're working a full-time job and you're just kind of doing shows every once in a while. But no, if you're going full in, you shoot your shot. So no, I completely get your opinion on that.
Yeah,
like I really do.
I completely understand why they would do it. And let's be straight, he's still a huge celebrity musician in metal.
Yeah.
He still has that going for him. He's very respected. I mean, I kind of think that in the days, recently he's become a little too, his mouth yaps a little too much. And
are they
says
still
a lot of shit?
Are they still together, or a band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's his name? The last original member, the oldest member is Dave McClain.
Yeah, McLean. Yeah.
And he left, and now he's got a different band, but I think they're still playing Machine Head.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Vogue from Decapitated plays guitar.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point,
is he gonna make a death metal album now?
Vogue is one of the best guitar players ever. That dude is so fucking good. And you'll see it when I show you guys the video. Just watch Vogue, man. He shreds, dude.
It's not even like Machine Head. It's more like Rob Flynn and Friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically,
Like,
that's what everyone basically.
It's like when I saw Orgy.
Was that Jay Gordon and Friends? Is that what it
Jay Gordon and two guys from Dead Z and the drummer from the Dreaming, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time Gordon tours, it's like a whole new crew.
Same thing with the late stage Chimera, right before they were done, right? It was Mark.
Yeah, that became a shit show. I saw them on the Age of Hell tour. I think that was the last time most of that band was still together.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really good. I also saw them at Ozfest 03 during Impossibility of Reason, and they were starting to break through. And I thought they were going to that whole new wave of American heavy metal thing.
Yeah,
those are bands that Machine Head should have toured with, during that period of time. They should have taken Chimera out, El Nino. Who were the other band? Lamb of God.
Mm-hmm.
Were they Burn the Priest at that time, or were they Lamb of God in 2001?
No, they were Lamb of God.
Okay.
Yeah, Burn the Priest was 99.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they changed the name in what, Jay? Was it 2000?
I think it was it was right before New American Gospel came out, which was,
and then Palace's Burn was the one that started getting them exposure.
That was the big one for them. But I mean, I remember that fall, was it fall of 2000 or 2001? It was the Metalenium tour. It was 6 Feet Under, Lamb of God, God Forbid, Candiria, and Darkest Hour.
I forgot about Candiria.
And that is like a tour that Machine Head could have pulled.
Candiria put out 2 nu metal records.
Well, they put out one. The other one was sat on and leaked, right?
Yeah, but that's a nu metal record.
Yeah, I don't like. What was that? What was that one? The one that they sat on, Kiss the Lie. Was that it?
Yeah.
Ugh. But I did like what was it? What Doesn't Kill You. I really like that.
That's a phenomenal record.
Yeah. But then again, they do no wrong in my eyes. So
yeah.
I need to go back and listen to Candiria. It's been like at least 10 years.
A video just surfaced on YouTube of them at Middlesex County College, and it was wild. Like they played like a full 50-minute set at a community college. That's kind of lit.
There's this YouTube channel who I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head.
Is it Liberated Media?
Yeah, those guys. Who started just posting these rare nu metal like live shows and everything. And I was going through a bunch of them. Some of them really weren't great quality, but it was cool to see them. They have a Taproot show from like 96 where they're just playing in like a community center. It is so weird.
I reached out to them and they never got back. I gotta figure out a way to get a hold of them
and have them come on.
Yeah.
I know one of the guys who gave them a whole bunch of tapes is a regular on the nu metal subreddit.
Oh,
I've seen him post a few times.
Put them in our direction, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. There was something on YouTube, but wildly off topic. It was Rage Against the Machine's first show. And it was their first show together, and they were still amazingly tight. And it was like
that would have been like what, 92, 91?
Yeah, it was way old. Again, at like a community school somewhere, and it was wild. They played a long set, but it was good. It was really good. So
I want to get this in before we forget.
Okay.
Yeah, back to Supercharger. Are you guys surprised that they didn't put another cover song on this record?
So here's the thing. They have 2 B-sides for this album, and they ended up on the reissue. One of them is a cover, and it is great. It's Hole in the Sky from Black Sabbath.
Oh, okay.
And they have another song called Tenfold that was also really good and should have been on the album. You could have put that in the album instead of Kick You When You're Down, or that Nausea isn't very good either. Just take those 2 off and put those 2 on. Be great.
That song Nausea makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
We should go track by track real quick, just a couple seconds on each track.
Funnily enough, Tim, we did talk about Hole in the Sky when we did our episode on soundtracks.
Oh, I didn't know that
this was in with
it was done. Yeah, it was done during the sessions for this, and it shows up on the reissue. It was on one of the Nativity in Black ones.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We did talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, we did real briefly. Okay, so you want to go track by track? Let's go track by track.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to do a whole hour track by track. We just do it real quick.
So it starts off with Declaration, which is your typical opener. I just fast forward through it because I really
the two interlude intro tracks, just those are fine. Whatever.
Yeah, terrible. And then we have Bulldozer, right? Which
I love Bulldozer.
It's a heavy song. I mean, cheesy lyrics aside, it is a pretty heavy song.
I think this song is like, I get annoyed when he does some quirky laughs and shit. Like, here we are. Here's the record that's going to skyrocket me into the stratosphere. And it's like, yeah. Like, you're real cocky doing this record kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Vibe I get.
He is. Rob Flynn on Supercharger is Fred Durst on Chocolate Starfish.
It's like,
he's like, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And I can't stand them clean parts he does. Oh God, no more cleans, dude.
I like his clean songs.
So we go from Bulldozer, which is kind of fairly long for 4 minutes and 35 seconds, into White Knuckle Blackout.
Yeah, I was gonna say these songs are very long.
Yeah,
some of them do drag a little bit. Blank Generation, the aforementioned one, yes, that goes way longer than it needs to. Same with Kick You When You're Down. I think that goes too long too.
Yeah, that's 4 minutes.
White Knuckle Blackout, I absolutely love.
It's not a bad song. I mean, it was one of the ones I didn't mind.
It is
what is it? Wow, and all that shit he does in there. Like, what are you doing? I gotta get that sound effect too.
Coming soon, the new breed soundboard. So we go
just like Rob Flynn going, Just Rob Flynn going, raise my middle fingers up and say, fuck you.
Yeah. It's like audio karate in this song.
Yeah. I love it. It's so, this is one of those albums that like inherently is kind of stupid, like especially the lyrical content, but I can't help but love it. It's super entertaining to me.
Like, listen, I'm a big purveyor in the word fuck. I think it's great to use it, but when you overuse it, it gets very cringy.
Yes.
Like, did you ever like, and Jay, and maybe John, you'll know this too. Like, have you ever interviewed someone who just says fuck every other word?
No, not in an interview.
And you're
not
just
my
like,
at work, they would never get hired.
Or if you listen to a podcast and someone is just saying the word fuck every other sentence or word, and it's just super fucking cringe after a while. You see,
it's
how
like you need to be able to form some sort of sentence without swearing every other time.
I use the word fuck like a comma.
Like, no,
right?
I swear pretty regularly. And I've learned the areas not to do it. I kind of keep it low key at work unless something bad happens.
But it comes to a point where it gets very cringe.
It becomes almost like you're lacking for creativity, and that's what you're falling back on is profanity.
It's kind of like instead of going or you just you resort to saying fuck instead.
It's the hair metal equivalent of hey yeah, it's fuck.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
And I think in this song, as I listen to it, and I hear him just fuck you, fuck, and I'm like, do you really need that though? Like, I don't understand the use of that so many times. It's kind of like, I'll give you an example. Like, the dude from The Sopranos has a podcast, Little Anthony, and he did an episode. Are you guys familiar with Joey Diaz?
Yes.
So Joey Diaz had him on his podcast, and I think he said the word fuck like 4,000 times in 1 hour.
Wait a minute, Tony Jr.?
Yeah, and it got to the point where I couldn't listen to it anymore because it was just an abomination of an interview. And ever since then, I just, every time I hear that, like, even in my own interviews, not with Jay, when I say it and I edit it, I cringe. And I'm like, why do I keep doing that?
Yeah, same thing. I have the same reaction. It's almost when you have someone who, like, you know, like when they're getting ready to like say something like, and they use that word like, it drives me absolutely bananas. But anyway, so
literally is my favorite one.
Like literally. And the vocal fry.
Like fucking literally, man. You
know? There's another band who's very, I do like them, but they're very guilty of it. Are you Dope? They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Die motherfucker die. Yeah.
Which was then that whole idea of offensive lyrics to the nth degree was stolen by deathcore, by Attila and Amur, and
I do. Attila does, like, I don't really like deathcore very much. Attila does something for me. They're another band that just I watch their stuff and I listen to their music and I'm just entertained. I think they're funny.
I will admit that I am too, and I think he does that purposely for the shock value.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He knows, he is hyper aware.
The first I saw, the first exposure was the About That Life video. I was like, this is hilarious. I love this.
I love when he did the video where he looks like Manson from Portrait, and people are breaking his balls saying he ripped them. And he's like, I'm not trying to be Manson. I'm like, bro, you even had the same color green in the video. What are you talking about? But he's just trolling people, and I love it. I think he's an hilarious dude.
And then you have Frankie from Amur, where every time I think of Amur, the only thing I think about is when he got electrocuted in Russia, and they still kept playing the breakdown, and I was like, "Oh my lord!"
How did he get electrocuted? Oh, I assume the mic.
Yeah. He took a drink, and he picked up the mic, and he went to sing, and all of a sudden he goes over, and they kept playing the breakdown. And also, if you listen, you can hear that there's a vocal track playing in the background because the yell is not there. Because I'll find it and I'll send it to you, John. It's funny that now that he's okay, you can laugh about it. But he literally grabs the mic and goes, and then falls over.
Yeah, shameless self plug. Listen to my interview with Frankie from Amur. He gets very angry with me.
Listen to the Ill Street News interview.
I will.
I am I don't know if he's self-aware or whatever, but yeah, but for the longest time on Lamb Goat, the response whenever someone said something stupid was, "This is Frankie from Amur and I'm shocked." And that was like the rebuttal for everything. But anyway, so okay, we go from White Knuckle Blackout to Crashing Around You. I don't think more needs to be said.
I thought it was a good single.
My notes. I Am Your Nightmare. More like this song is a fucking nightmare.
Tim was channeling Eddie Murphy today. So I think what can be said for this entire album, if it wasn't a Machine Head album and it came out in the thick of the nu metal era, it might not have been so poorly received. But the fact that it was a Machine Head album, it was loaded with all those preconceptions of things people were looking for.
So it's Megadeth's Risk or Slayer's Diabolus in Musica.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard Risk, but yeah, it's definitely Diabolus.
Risk is a really good album that should not have the Megadeth tag on it because it doesn't sound like Megadeth.
What does it sound like?
It's got like an alternative rock vibe to it at times.
Yeah,
really?
It does.
Yeah, and like the lead single had like a dance beat to it. I love it, but it shouldn't be a Megadeth album. It should have been, if he wanted to do that, it should have been like a solo thing, like he did with MD45. But yeah, I like Risk and I've defended it, but I can't defend the fact that it's under the Megadeth moniker. It shouldn't be in the same category as Rust in Peace.
Along those lines, can we take a minute and talk about how the emotional damage that the band Metallica in the aggregate has caused all the members past and present, right? Like it fucked up Dave Mustaine something fierce, right? To the point
He
where
lit
he
a
admitted,
fire under his ass.
Yeah, he admitted that the only reason why Megadeth was what it was because he was trying to out Metallica.
Yeah.
And arguably Rust in Peace is just as good, if not better than Master of Puppets. But
I like Rust in
dude.
Peace more than Master of Puppets.
Dude, that record blows all of them
unreal.
records away.
I remember just listening to that and going, geez,
I thought-
where are these guys coming from?
I thought that every time Megadeth released an album, and it might have even been after Metallica released an album, I think starting with Rust in Peace, they did what Metallica was doing better than them.
Probably because
think-
Countdown to Extinction was still heavy, but it also had a lot of. It was
I
their
thought-
Black album. Yeah.
So I thought Rust in Peace was better than Master of Puppets. I thought Countdown was better than the Black album. I thought Cryptic Writings and Risk were better than Load and Reload. And then 2000, like, what does Metallica have to compare against System Has Failed or Endgame from Megadeth in the 2000s? They have nothing.
What, Death Magnetic?
Yeah, no.
I
Death
love
Magnetic's all
Endgame.
right, but it's not as good as either of those albums.
But my point being is that band fucked up Dave Mustaine. It fucked up Lars and James, and to an extent Kirk Hammett. Newstead, they hazed him mercilessly to the point where he quit the band, and then they hired a shrink. In that movie, I just watched it for the first time in my life.
Oh, I saw that.
I was
saw
mortified.
that years ago.
I've never watched it. I finally sat down and watched it.
I might have even seen it around the same time Saint Anger was coming out.
Ugh.
Here's the great thing, though. Newstead gets kicked out, but he makes money over, what's that saying?
Money over fist.
Yeah, hand over fist.
Because the Black record sells 10,000 copies a week still. It's been in the Billboard for fucking 20 years, dude. And that's a good word. And that's a way you can say the F word.
The thing is,
20 years it's been in there.
The thing is, they're constantly reissuing those other albums too. So, what's the other ones he's on? He's on. No, he's not on Master Puppets. He's on Injustice.
It's Justice.
Technically,
Black
even
album.
though you can't hear the bass.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he has Load and Reload still sell a little bit. Anytime they'll reissue something or I think people have lightened up to those albums over time. I know I have. I'm not as harsh to them.
I think the Black record has probably the best production value of the entire 90s, the whole decade.
The Black album sounds great.
That guitar tone is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It's a shame that, and we got to get back to Machine, but it's a shame that they've made missteps in judgment, right? So they did the Orion Festival, which on paper sounds great. It was
my God, I forgot about the Orion Festival.
It was a huge money loser for them. They did Through the Never, which I'm sorry. Every time, whenever Kim is out, I'll put that on like on a random Friday night if she's out with her girlfriends. I crack a beer. They go into Creeping Death, and I'm headbanging along by myself in my living room. Right? Like,
I've never seen Through the Never.
It's really
is that the one that's
enjoyable.
Is that the one that's a concert but also kind of a movie?
Yes, with Dale DeHaan from Chronicle. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah. So anyway, so back to back to Rob Flynn's something he wishes he could undo. So crashing around you, blah blah blah. They'll kick you when you're down. This is 4 minutes. So now the
I want to kick this song out of existence.
This is the one time I'm going to agree with you on this.
This is a song that you should just unrecord.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Adam Schmidt and Atreyu. So then we have the second longest song on the album, which is Only the Names. And
I like this song. It's another.
I actually do too.
It's another like slow melodic burner song. I feel it's nowhere near as good as Silver or The Burning Red or even Deafening Silence, but it's good. It's a good melodic Machine Head song with a punchy chorus.
I think this song could have been a B-side on The More Things Change. If you go back and listen to this song again, it has them riffs that are kind of chunky.
I get what you're saying, actually.
Yeah, this could have been a B-side on one of them first two records, I think. It might have been. It might have been some recycled riffs he just never used. You know?
I mean, it's completely possible.
Yeah.
So after that, we have All in Your Head at 4 minutes and 6 seconds.
All in Your Head's one of those songs on the album that is just kind of okay for me. Like, I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other on it. I'll usually won't skip it, but it's not a track I like. If I want to re-listen to a song, it's not one of those songs.
Then we have our favorite,
the best song on the album, American High.
Yeah, well, like, why did you channel your inner Tarzan for this song?
I don't get it, but I need to find that drop. It was that and the Max Cavalera Bring the Shit that we abused mercilessly.
Bring the shit.
And then we have Brown Acid, which is an interlude. It's 59 seconds. Then we have Nausea.
But we didn't even talk about the lyrics to American High. They're really good.
Yeah, Jay. What are you doing?
I'm the kid hanging out under the bleachers, getting high after school. Was it that one?
Act a fool. Don't need to be cool. Pissed off too and breaking the rules. Mama told me stay in school, no rock and roll, because this is my American High. Perfect. It writes itself.
Yeah, he's talking about being good at PE and getting bullied by Filipinos
and reading the Satanic Bible.
Oh my Lord, Jesus!
Cutting class to jam in Dad's garage, like, huh?
Cutting class and jam. Cutting class and jam.
Yeah, it's he's acting a fool.
It literally. Nausea, track 10, 4 minutes 24 seconds.
Nausea is my second least favorite song on this album. Nausea is just really not very good
because it makes you nauseous listening to it.
Jesus, Tim's stand-up career is terrible. And then we have the nadir of this album, the crown jewel,
Trephination,
Blank Generation.
Oh, Blank Generation.
6 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah, you could have cut the last 3 minutes as soon as he starts the rap part. You should have just done the chorus one more time. End song. The Blank Generation would have been good.
We all could have died happy without hearing somebody try to equate lyrically silicone tits to antibiotics.
To the Hollywood world we made out of Barbie doll hearts after we melted them down so we could make our new start.
Hold on, guys. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. There you go.
Yes.
There we go.
Doggy.
I found it. Yeah, I found it.
So after that, we have Trephination, which I think we all agree is one of the better songs.
Is great.
This was 4:50.
I love how heavy Trephination is.
Which shows that, I mean, there were some signs there, right? There were flashes of the flashes.
Trephination is one of the only flashes I feel that they kind of kept like going forward, like through the ashes. Cause like they get into it. And then all of a sudden there's just double bass all over the next two albums. But this was one of the few times on these two records where they really did it.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go back to Blank Generation real quick?
Yeah.
I feel like that song is just 6 minutes of going absolutely nowhere. It literally has no climax to it at all.
Yeah,
it's one of the most boring songs I've ever heard. Like, I listened to it earlier and I was like mad that I listened to it for 6 minutes. Like, it just goes nowhere. There's no climax to it.
As I said, I don't mind the beginning of it. I don't mind the first few minutes. But yeah, once it gets
the rapping
to
kicks in.
Yeah. That
got another
loses
one
it
for
for me
you.
really bad.
Bring the shit.
There you go.
Hell
There
yeah.
we go. Do you still have the Lynn Straight? Do we have that floating around?
No, I can get it in a second. though.
It's the Vive la fucking France. So after Trepidation, we have Deafening Silence, which isn't a bad song.
I really
No, I
like
think it's the best song on the record.
Deafening Silence might be, it's definitely top 3 for me on the record. Like, I love Deafening Silence.
I want to get. I have to go back to Trephination too. I'm very surprised that song was not put in the beginning of the record because I think that's one of the songs
It's
that's
kind of heavy that they buried, right, Tim?
I think it's a song
So-
that should not have been buried. You're absolutely right.
There's a weird drop off after Crashing Around You when it goes to Kick You When You're Down. Like, that Trephination should have been there. Like, because you could have gone Bulldozer, White Knuckle Blackout. Hey, here's the single. Here's another heavy song. And then you could have put one of the melodic numbers in there.
Yeah. I think that Trephination song also, it has a very non-point vibe to it. If you listen to old non-point around that time, you get that whole vibe from that too. And I love non-point.
Yeah, it's got a very like in the box groove with the drum work.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm sorry, I keep cutting you guys off. We're on Deafening Silence.
You're kind of something.
So there's only one more song.
And then after that, it's the album closer for the main release, which was Supercharger. 3 minutes and 48 seconds.
I really like Supercharger. Supercharger is a song that I actually, up until recently, for some reason, I kind of only heard it a few times. And then when doing my research for this, I was like, I need to listen to the whole thing. And then I started listening to Supercharger more, and I'm like, I really like this. Why did I not listen to this before? Like, it's really catchy.
There's a vibe throughout this record where, like, not a vibe, but like I'm one of them people that, like, I can't personally write lyrics, so I really don't have room talking and saying this, but I hate when people rhyme lyrics. I just despise that for some reason. Yeah, I don't like when people just go that route and they just rhyme their lyrics. Like I like lyrics,
like everything being a rhyme, or just any rhyming
everything,
at all.
all the rhyme. Yeah, not like a rapping rhyme, kind of like I'm trying to because I actually have a Word document of all the lyrics from this record because I just was laughing at them. Like
that's how you said it to me that fast.
Here you go. Well, you sat there and cried as these words came to glide through your delicate skin. Like what? Like glide, cried. Like I
think glide.
I think
I didn't think realize.
I think that's very lazy.
Yeah, almost like kind of pandering.
Yeah, it's like, and that's what adds to this record just being very crap to me. You know?
Is the chorus line Supercharger electrify?
Hold on 1 sec. I can go back to that for you. I can share my screen if you'd like.
That's so bad. So bad.
The thing is, I like most of the time listening to this album, the lyrics do sometimes go in one ear and out the other. Like I hear what he's saying, but usually I'm just like, I'm into the groove of the music.
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me that much.
I like how when I bring my window up, my whole side of my face lights up.
You light up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So charge me, charge you, charge us, charge through Supercharger. Or
electrify.
Braveheart mindset, full attack, kamikaze, never look back.
What?
Electricity is pulsing through our veins. A charge is racing. A chain reaction from the four of us to you. Like what?
Here
you go. Charge me, charge you, charge us, charge through, amplify, terrify, supercharger, electrifies.
Okay, I knew he said it at one point because I was like, he said electrify.
And I think there's sound effects in that last song, right? Don't they have the electric?
See,
so
that's another part of the record.
That entire interlude at like track 10 or whatever, that's all like the little electricity sounds.
Yeah, there's
why does it? It doesn't need to exist.
Yeah,
I hate pointless interludes.
Me too. Like just make it 12 songs instead of 14. We don't need to hear your pandering, laughing, and just enough.
I may get crap for this. The biggest issue I've ever had with an album doing that. Are you guys familiar with Moto Grader?
Oh, hell yeah. And I totally disagree. I love them parts of that record.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He knew where you were going before you went there.
I love like suffocate spelled backwards and it's just noise. Yeah, I think it's great.
as soon as I listened to the album twice, I burned the album to my computer, took all the instrumental parts out, and made myself a burned copy that just had the actual songs on it.
Well, I also did the same thing. Like in my Apple Music, I delete all them songs because I'd rather just hear the songs. But like that record, we need to talk about that record. That record is that's so good.
I felt bad. It was supposed to be Friday night with what's his name? But I had to bail on him because I ended up at the emergency vent with the cat.
Oh, I thought you meant this Friday because this Friday we get Many Saints in Newark, and I ain't missing that shit.
Oh, is that a young Tony Soprano? Now that I think about it, while I'm thinking out loud and John doesn't mind, we should see if we can get Tony Jr. on the show because he was a nu metal fan, right?
Yeah.
Do we just dump him every time he uses the F word? What do you think?
Nah, he's gotten better. I listened to his podcast. It's pretty good, actually. I think that he was nervous to be on with Joey Diaz, and he was just saying that he was just nervous fucking.
Yeah. I get it.
That does happen.
So in summary, right? So let's take this one home. In summary, I think we all universally understand that there are some good songs. There's a lot more bad songs than good songs. John makes some very valid points about why it resonates to him and why he thinks it's not so terrible. I also think Tim and I make some pretty good points as to why we're just kind of overwhelmed by how underwhelmed we are.
But as Tim did say, like, this is Rob Flynn shooting his shot. And yeah, it was a miss. And it is respectable that he actually got credibility back afterwards. Like, it didn't kill his career. So
yeah, I don't want people listening to this. Maybe if this is their first episode, like, I don't want you to think that I'm just shitting on it. I just think it's
lying.
Bad record. Yeah. I just think it's a bad record.
It's not.
I love Machine Head, but this is just a bad record.
But I do think everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, they should go and listen themselves. Go and listen and check it out if you haven't, and let us know. Are we right? Are we wrong? And more importantly, let us know in what context are you listening to this? Are you listening to this as someone who's never heard any Machine Head before? Are you listening to this as someone likes Machine Head's later
I would
catalog?
be very interested in a nu metal fan who has never heard Machine Head before hearing this album.
Yeah, this is a record that a 15-year-old kid right now listens to and loves because this is right up. Yes. This is right up their alley. They're getting angsty on their parents.
Yeah,
they want to hear the word fuck. They want to have I'm going to be this guy kind of thing because it's the kind of record where kids can listen to and be like, I want to be that. You know what I mean?
I think the another thing that helps that is the fact that it has such clean production. Like as much as they're good albums, you can't give a kid nowadays, like they can get into it eventually. But like a first like angsty metal album, you can't give them something like the first Korn album or the first Deftones album.
I was literally just going to say that.
They're good, but they're really rough and you kind of got to get there.
Yeah. It's kind of like you give a kid Twisted Transistor before you give them Predictable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I actually had that problem myself. My first Korn album was Follow the Leader. So I had Follow the Leader. And then I actually had issues because I got Follow the Leader late. So I had those two albums before I had heard anything from the first two Korn albums.
So going backwards to you.
So then I heard Adidas and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I heard all of Life is Peachy and I was like, oh, okay. And then I heard Korn and I was like, this is the album everyone says is the best nu metal album of all time. But at first, like I was like, I don't get it. But then as time went on, like I started to break through the layers and be like, oh, okay. It has a little bit of a rough exterior, but it's a really good emotional album.
Yeah, I don't really think that, I know this is way off topic, but I don't really think that first Korn record is ever, you're never making a record with that feeling ever again.
Didn't they try?
Yeah, but you're never going to capture that ever again. That pure raw emotion in that record, you're never capturing it ever again.
The emotion, the hunger of a bunch of young kids. It's Ross Robinson and Indigo Ranch. It's them having all those demons. It's the drinking. It's the drugs. It's all of that.
Yeah, it's everything culminating, and that's what came out of it.
Yes.
I mean, you're never getting that tone ever again. You're never getting that groove.
There's a very special vibe to those early nu metal albums. The first Korn, the first Deftones, the first Head P. I'm not sure of your feelings on those guys.
Oh, I love that. Those first two albums are great.
The first Limp Bizkit album.
Yeah.
As
Even
much
though
as
I shit on that record, you're completely right. You're never gonna have a $3 bill, y'all, ever again.
Nope. The closest they got in tone was that Unquestionable Truth EP, but even that was like a cleaned up, like mature version of $3 bill.
Them playing adult didn't work.
Yeah.
Dude, look at the first Seven Dust record. I mean, that is a fucking classic record.
Yo, that is a good album. I went back and listened to that not too long ago. You know what else I went back and listened to? And I was really the two albums I went back and listened to, and then we'll wrap it up. That I went back and listened to lately, and I was impressed by how good they are. For Taproot's first album,
I love Gift.
Even though the intros for the songs they get a little bit repetitive after like the fifth song, it's still a great album. And I forgot how good fucking Il Nino was.
Oh yeah,
the first
Revolution.
first two El Nino albums are really good. One Nation Underground has its moments, and I don't think I've ever heard anything else.
I stopped after the first one, but I you know what? Shout out to Ryan Rainbow in the Meet podcast, because I listened to his interview where he had George from Marauder and he had Laz, who's the bassist, and he had a whole bunch of different people on talking about that album. And then I put it in. I'm like, man, I forgot how like radio friendly this shit was. Like this was barely even nu metal, more of a rock album.
If you still hate me, one of my favorite songs.
Yep.
And on the Taproot record, Emotional Times, dude, that's a such a good song.
Yeah, when I saw Taproot live, I want to say like almost a decade ago, and they were doing I don't know if it was Gift anniversary shows, but almost the entire set list was just Gift songs. They even played like Dragged Down and Impact and stuff like that, and they almost never play those songs.
Yeah, there was a huge me and Jay have talked about it. After 2004, it's just Taproot and Primer 55.
Everything sounds the same. It's kind of
Taproot loses me after. I'm one of the weird people who doesn't like Welcome very much. I don't know why. Welcome just never really hits with me. I liked the singles, and there's a couple other songs, but as a whole, I don't like it that much. I thought Taproot sounded much better trying to go for a melodic sound on Blue Sky Research. Yeah, I thought that album sounded really good. But then they were like, oh, we got popular. Let's make a bunch of songs that are ballads, release them on our future albums. And it didn't.
Yeah.
They lose me.
They shot their shot on that one.
Yeah. Yep. Our Long Road Home is kind of okay, but the ballads kind of like, it's like half ballads.
Yeah. Kind of mailed it. All right, everybody. So once again, we want to thank John for coming on again.
Hold on, Jay. Let's do this. We'll start with John. Out of 10 for this record, what's your number?
Supercharger?
Yes.
8 out of 10.
Wow. Jay.
I gotta go with like
I'm expecting 2s and 3s.
4.875.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 4. I think
like it's not over 5. Right, Tim? It's not for us. Right? It's not over 5. However, it's not like a 1 or a 2. Right? It's not terrible. No. It's just,
and admittedly,
contextually,
I do want to clarify: Supercharger is not my favorite Machine Head album. Like, The Burning Red is my favorite Machine Head album.
Okay, and
then Burn My Eyes is second, and then I don't know if I can decide either Supercharger or The Blackening. I like both of those a real lot. But
man, a lot of people don't like The More Things Change.
Oh, I love that album.
I do like The More Things Change. It's just that I like the other ones more.
Okay.
Like I think all 6 of those, the first 6 Machine Head albums, I think all of them are good.
I would agree, but Supercharger gets the 4 for me.
It's a solid 4.
5 out of 6.
So, again, thanks, John, for coming on. Good times, and we look forward to having you back on numerous times going forward. I want to
absolutely anytime.
I want to thank all of you listeners, all you watchers, for tuning in again on behalf of John, Tim, and myself. If you like what you heard, send us an email, newbreedpodcast@gmail.com. You got a show idea? You want to come on? You want to defend another album that you think is when do I get to defend
Crazy Town?
Oh, that's coming. Well, you don't have to really defend that because we're all fans. But
okay, good.
If you're listening, if you're watching, and you want to defend an album that you think unfairly gets picked on, reach out and let us know. We would love to have you on. Find us at @newbreed_podcast, Cat Podcast on Twitter, on Instagram. We have a group on Facebook. It's kind of quiet. We do most of our stuff via Twitter. We had a big discussion today about Evanescence and Machine Head. So find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram, find us on numetal r/Reddit. Or r/numetal, I should say, on Reddit. Jesus. Have another beer, Jay. So once again, thank you, John. Thank you all of our listeners, everybody tuning in. And until next time, this is New Breed saying cheers.
Farewell.